Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Car Wash Magazine Live. I'm your host, as always, Matt DeWolf, Editor-in-Chief of Car Wash Magazine. Hey, great episode coming up for you today. I tried to bait you all into this with, a catchy headline like, is entrepreneurship dead? And I don't know, we'll see how many of you bit on that. But we're going to be talking today a lot about what's kind of coming for this industry. It's definitely changing, right? I mean, there's more competition. There's been more effort around creating strong local, regional, and larger presences. And there's been eyes on this industry like really kind of never before. And so even things like most recently with Mr. Car Wash being the first pure car wash company to go public, that's a big deal. We talked about it last week. It's going to continue to bring eyes on this industry in ways we have not seen. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're going to get into what's coming, what we should be working on, what we need to focus on. And we're going to be speaking with Jim Davis from the Gigot Center for Entrepreneurial Studies. He founded that organization at Notre Dame, is now a professor of management at Utah State University. So we will get into it with him in just a moment. But first, my friends, we have to talk about this week in car wash. So unfortunately, guys, we got to kick this one off with a little bit of a sad note. I did want to just comment real quickly on the loss of an industry icon. Jim Coleman did pass away in the last week, and so our thoughts are going out to the Coleman family as well as the entire Coleman Hanna organization. Jim was a force in this industry, had an indelible impact on those around him, and spent a lot of time really making sure that people in his path could be successful. It was very helpful. So if you would just join me in a moment to just kind of recognize the contributions that Jim Coleman did make to this industry. All right, so again, our thoughts are with Coleman Hanna organization and the Coleman family. We're thinking of you all as you get through this time. Okay, moving on to something a little bit different here. We have the first endorsement, at least as far as I know, the first car wash endorsement of a NCAA athlete. So Silver Star Car Wash up in South Dakota area just signed a deal with Brooklyn Bullwig from the University of South Dakota. And so as of July 1st, some of you might know this, amateur athletes can now get paid for their name, image, and likeness, or their NIL. And so that's big news. So kudos to them for doing that. It also means, friends, I don't know if you guys are video game players, it means that NCAA football might actually come back. And so I might have some hard conversations to have with my family about what I want to do in my free time. So just be mindful of that as we get into that. So look, we're always talking about openings and acquisitions and activity. We've got, this week we're going to talk about Scrubbies real quick. Scrubbies is based in Hartsville, South Carolina. They've opened up what was really a kind of a tear down and rebuild of their location there, and they're expanding in that region like we talked about at the top of the program. So I want to show you real quick. Here's a grand opening photo. So you may recognize this concept from some of your grand openings. You may also realize that we also like to talk about things like this when we are talking about our marketing panel and how you can have a better grand opening next time you get out there and do it. If you want to check out that full episode, that's at carwashmagazine.com. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk about real quickly is AquaTech Car Wash down in Davenport, Iowa did a fantastic fundraiser, guys and gals. It was a $8,400 in free washes that they gave away to do some honor flights in the Quad Cities. So they didn't get to do it last year. Honor flights are these flights where they take some veterans of wars, send them to DC to kind of check out the monuments. It's a great way to really honor those folks who have served and have helped us have the freedoms that we have today. So kudos to you all. That's a pretty awesome event. And in ICA land, friends, you may have seen this, you may not. We have the second quarter of the Pulse surveys. All that data is coming out. And if you want to be part of that, you want to see that, you want to get some intel that provides, you can do that by making sure you have an individual ICA membership. That's at carwash.org/join. What else do we talk about? We talk about LEAD, friends. LEAD is online training for car wash managers, but guess what? It goes further than that, and to tell you about that, here we have Lexi Hayes from Sudsy Salmon.
I really think I like how it's not just on the computer, how it is hands-on. So, like, with the workbooks, I'm not only just, like, watching videos, reading about it, like, pushing it all into my brain. I'm actually, like, working and doing it. I'm, like, participating with other employees. And, like, I don't know, I'm trying to, like, really put what I'm learning, and then I'm using it and actually using an activity as well. Put that all together, and then I feel like it makes it stick, and I understand more of it, and it's making it more personal.
You know the drill, carwash.org/lead to get more information if you want to know how you can take advantage of that great program. All right, what's up next? Ear candy, guys. So we've been talking about talent management a lot this month. You've got 2 fantastic episodes of Car Wash the podcast where you can go get some of that knowledge dropped on you by people much smarter than myself. We had a talent management panel with George Hobson from Brown Bear, Alex Paisner from Scrubbies, and Chris Presswood from Mammoth Holdings. We've got that episode for you, so that's a great listen. And then we've also got a conversation with Megan Ragsdale from Soapy Joe's, all about how you can make your place of work a great place to work, not only for everybody, but also very specifically for females in this industry. So check out that great listen for you there. In case you guys missed it, I don't know why you would ever miss this program. Maybe you're washing cars or something, I don't know. Last week, we had Jamie Nestor from Flagstop on to share his background, his story, going all the way from McDonald's manager in high school, all the way up to owner of Flagstop Car Wash. Along the way, he picked up some fantastic tips for his Unlimited program. So in case you missed it, here's a quick snippet from Jamie from last week, giving you those tips.
Eventually knew that we were going to be going to an express only model and converting our full serves, we went down to one club plan. So our club plan is $21.99 and it's unlimited top $18 washes. So our top wash is $18. You get it unlimited for $21.99. So if you're buying our top wash, you might as well pay us a couple bucks more and go unlimited. We don't do family plans anymore because our price point is so low already.
Yep.
What we figured out was having one higher base plan and then given 2 at half off. We just went through and averaged what all those plans really came down to and what kind of average ticket for the club that we really wanted to achieve. And then just came out with that one plan, one price plan. It's part of our marketing is that, we feel that our club members deserve the best. So they should always have the best wash. They always get the top wash. We always had some issues. People buy the cheapest wash club you got, and then they complain about everything that they don't get with that wash. Or they expect that they should have discounts on everything else because they're club members. So we just said, hey, let's just simplify this. So we've done extremely well since we've made these changes. It's so much easier for our employees to understand the club plans and understand how to sell them and talk to the customers. So much easier for the customers. They know that they're going to get everything. Now it's, if you have a customer that doesn't want tire shine, they just say, hey, can you hit the button for no tire shine when you go through or something. So now, our club members get everything. It's a great price point. It just makes it so much easier to market, much easier transaction for the customer. They know what they're getting every time. It's made our world a whole lot easier.
All right, catch that full episode. As always, I'm going to tell you the same thing. You're going to hear this a lot. carwashmagazine.com. You can catch all of what Jamie had to say. Lots of great tips coming from him in that episode from last week. Okay, guys and gals, look, we're going to be talking in just a couple of seconds here, maybe like 45 seconds or so, to Jim from the Gigot Center for Entrepreneurial Studies. I'm trying real hard to say that right, guys. It's not an easy one to say. We're going to be talking about what's going on in this industry, what you need to be preparing for yourself, and how you can kind of set yourself up for success. But until we get to that, here's a fun thing. We got jokes.
My name is Asher D. Wolf, and I have a joke for you. Have you heard the joke of a dolphin with no ears? Neither did he. He had no ears.
All right, as we get going here, I want you to know you can put your questions in the comments down below, and we will get those answered for you. And now, without further ado, here is Jim Davis. Jim, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's great to be here today.
Hey, Jim, you've got a pretty fantastic background that really aligns well with what people do in this industry around family businesses and entrepreneurship and strategic kind of development and planning and building and growth. So I'm excited for this conversation. Where do you want to start, my friend? I've got some stuff. Where do you want to start?
I got to tell you, man, I've done a lot of, I approached this session as an investor. I wanted to see, what do people see in this industry? And my gosh, it's a $20 billion industry with 5% compound annual growth. Entry is easy. Investors don't like labor-intensive investments. They like to invest in convenience, automation, express service. Crap, after doing the analysis, I thought, my gosh, I want to invest. I want a car wash. This is such a hot industry right now. Word of mouth contributes to huge spikes in investor interests. And the car wash industry right now is hot and trendy among investors.
Well, what do you think? I agree. Look, everybody wants to own a wash, right? I mean, why would you not want to right now? But what do you think, as this is kind of happening, what do you think that influx of capital and that influx of people is kind of doing to the industry as a whole? Like from a 10,000 foot level, what's shifting and what's shaking?
I got to tell you, competition is going up.
Mm-hmm.
A while ago, almost everybody had at least one competitor in a 3-mile radius, their service area. And now 25% of car washes have 6 to 10 competitors in that radius. Local players are wondering what they should do, how they should compete. Are their customers loyal? What drives the customer? Is it price, quality, convenience? Or is it some kind of a niche specialization? The scary thing to me is what this increase in competitors, this investment, the number of new entrants might do to the industry. One clearly is local market oversaturation, and everybody loses. There's also a risk of commoditization. A lot of Me Too strategies, a lot of people saying, man, I need that too. And we begin to look all alike. The industry is fragmented. Nobody owns more than 5% market share. There's huge technology advancement as everybody tries to take that next leg up on the competition. But then again, as people see that, there's a lot of copying. There's a Me Too strategies that take place. And as what I'm seeing is people are clearly looking for that golden bullet, that hunt for that competitive niche that will define them and their brand and help them succeed in the marketplace. It's the wild, wild west of industries right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the thing that sticks out to me is always this fragmentation piece, right? Because we talk a lot about all this merger acquisition, all this activity happening, all these companies kind of consolidating. But at the end of the day, like you said, no more than 5% market share, there's tons of room. I want to know, Jim, what have you seen, or what other industries have you kind of seen that you could compare this to? Like, what should we kind of be watching for kind of outside influence?
I got to tell you, there's a lot of industries that are in this type of an industry, this fragmentation. And I can give you a lot of examples from restaurants, hotels, automobile repairing, computer software development, boutiques, real estate, dentistry. It's very fragmented. And it's what they do in these fragmented industries. You're literally looking for a niche to deliver customer value in a unique way to separate yourself from the competition. If you try to do it like everybody else, it's a commodity. And then everybody loses, because the competitor or your customer then simply looks for the cheapest price, the best value, because everybody's the same. In a fragmented market like this, you've got to identify customer value and deliver customer value in a niche type of a fashion that will define yourself. Think of beauty parlors. There are beauty parlors that it's easy entry, first off.
Yep.
They define themselves. We do children. We do senior citizens. Dentistry, we do children. We do dentures. They define themselves in some way. Restaurants do it. Hotels do it. They define market value. But the critical thing here, Matt, is that it's got to be value that really matters in a niche that's large enough that there's profit potential. And that's not easy. But in a fragmented market like this with intense competition, that is the very best thing you can do, is deliver real value to the customer that differentiates you from everybody else. They'll come to you because, and you fill in the blank.
Yeah, one of the things I think that if folks at home watching, if you're solely express right now, that's fantastic. That's a really attractive model in terms of labor and efficiency and all of that. But to your point, Jim, I think one of the things that we might start to see is more value on full and flex serve operations, where people can go and get some of those extra services and some of those interior cleans, because that's going to be different and that's real value, and that's not like the one down the street. So I think that we may start to see a little bit of a shift in that area and see more of that kind of coming online. One other thing that I think is super important for people to kind of set themselves apart, and you talk about this a lot, is community, right? Like making yourself be really valuable in the community. Can you just kind of share some tips on that in that space?
And especially for the local players, the smaller family business players, you're the local champion. They know you. You're a part of the community. And when you engage with the community, they feel almost a responsibility to support you in your business. So when you take part in community enterprises, whatever it is, you donate to the local baseball team, or you have a car wash especially for them, I've got to tell you, the community will support you. It differentiates you from the major national chains that are trying to penetrate your market. Community engagement is a differentiator in the market. Absolutely. You are the local champion.
So Jim, okay, so we were talking a little bit about, how it's an attractive time to get into the industry. If I'm getting into this industry and I'm, going into my market, and let's say I find one that's, a little underserved, what are maybe like the 2 or 3 things I need to be focusing on as I kind of start my business up and I get going? Or maybe I'm trying to go from 2 to 3 to 4 to 7 locations. What do I need to be watching for?
My favorite quote on this one is, nail it before you scale it. Okay? Nail it before you scale it. Get your business model right. Think it through clearly. Location is important, but understanding the customer at that location is absolutely critical. Because think of yourself as a partnership with the customers in that service area. If all the customers in that service area have ATVs or drive pickup trucks, become the service for them. Understand the value proposition for that market. Build that business model and get it right, and then scale it. If you scale on stupid, you have stupid. If you scale on a great model, you will grow and you will be successful.
I love that. If you scale on stupid, you've got stupid. And you can't fix stupid.
You can't. And it's sad, because once you've made that investment and you've got that location and you got a bad business model, fixing a broken model in that location is hard, because that's how people know you going forward. Get it right before you scale.
Yeah, repairing brand credibility is a lot harder than building it right from the beginning. That's for sure. Okay, so competition. There's a lot of chatter going on right now around whether or not the growth that we're seeing is sustainable, right? I mean, we're seeing projections anywhere from 3 to 5 to 7% and on up in some cases from some reports. As you start to think about what that means in kind of some folks' minds, that's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be one within 3/4 of a mile or closer. It might be right across the street from me. What's sustainable? Like, what should we expect, or even like how do we stay competitive in those environments when you might end up with CVS and a Walgreens kind of situation, right? Where you've got CVS right here, Walgreens right here, or Starbucks and Caribou, or Starbucks and anybody, right? What do we do?
First off, you got to be agile. All right. Markets change, conditions change, investors change. And you can expect that. There's some volatility here. As I looked at the car wash industry, there's some cyclicality here. The projection right now is this type of growth through 2028. But we all know, did any of us expect COVID? None of us expected COVID. That flipped the switch immediately. So first off, we've got to be agile. We've always got to protect our business model, protect our competitive niche, whatever it takes. And that takes agility. Secondly, you've got to stay in tune with your customer. You've got to stay connected. Measure in some way, shape, or form, measure that customer satisfaction regularly. If you want customer loyalty, you've got to stay tied to the customer, because they won't stay tied to you if you don't work to stay tied to them. Stay agile, understand your business model, understand that nothing is written in stone. You've got to be agile in this market. You've got to understand that customer. And when the new competitor comes into your market, and they will, simple economic theory shows that when you're successful, your competitors will be coming. You've got to protect that market position by staying close to your customer. Stay close to that customer and make sure your value proposition remains. To me, the worst thing you can do is do nothing and hope for the best. You'll hope yourself right out of business.
Right. Yeah. Hope is not a strategy, friends.
That's exactly right.
Jim, there's another quote I want you to get into that you shared on our, as we were kind of prepping for this. It was about eagles and field mice. Can you just explain that?
Yeah. National players that have huge regions that they cover, consider them the eagle.
Yeah.
And they fly over the field and they see the field better than anybody else because they see all the locations, all the playing field. However, the field mice, they understand their square foot of that field, their service area, better than the eagle ever will. Because the eagle see in big picture, the field mice understand that square foot of the field better than anybody else. And so those local small players, my goodness, they have an advantage because they have market knowledge that the eagle, they have a general idea, but not specific knowledge.
I love that because I think that's going to get us into my next topic. I want to talk about growth a little bit. And for me, it's like, well, what happens when the mouse gets wings, right? And then the mouse is flying. So they know the field and they're up above and they can see it. So let's talk, because there are so many eyes on the industry, because there are so many opportunities, let's talk growth a little bit. Because look, it's really attractive for me as an entrepreneur to say, man, I can get in, I can build up and scale a bunch of locations and then sell off at a really great rate. And man, I just made a lot of money. Like, what should we be watching for as we grow?
Great question. First off, even when you know that square foot of the field, you've got to have a little bit of a wing here too, to kind of have a feel for what's happening around the country and around the region. And that's why these kinds of broadcasts are critical. Matt gives you a briefing on what's happening. That's the view of the eagle. You know what's happening. Reading the Car Wash magazine gives you a feel for the eagle. You see what technology is out there. Even if you don't have it, it shows you avenues of growth. And to me, there's two primary ways you can think about growth. One is when you think about different types of customers, okay? So you're going to be the car wash for trucks. Nobody does trucks like you do trucks. And when they hear your name, they think truck. Yeah, you'll do cars too. But nobody does trucks better than you. You can do the wheels, you can do you can do the truck better than anybody else. So you think about a customer niche, and it might be senior citizens. It could be female customers. You could focus on a customer and what their specific needs are, what they want out of a car wash. Another way to go would be to think about the product, what you do, the technology involved, and how you do it. I mean, I've seen all kinds of different technologies. We're saving the planet. We use less water. We don't use harmful detergents and that will attract some customers because you're protecting the environment and you have a technology to do that. You have a technology that dries your car in a very special way. And so you're marketing on product. So when I think growth, again, it comes back to customer value proposition, where I think about a particular customer segment, or I think about a particular product segment and where you're going to be known. One thing I can say, if you try to be all things to all people, you're nothing to nobody. You're a car wash without an identity.
Yeah.
You need an identity. By the way, I've even seen recently a real uptick in apps, car wash apps, where car washes now have apps that make it even more convenient, even quicker to get your car through. And it's just a way of connecting to the customer.
Yeah.
Get on digital media. And when the customers call up car wash, you want to be the first one that pops up in Yelp or Google search. You want to be the first one up, and you've got to have great reviews. I mean, that's all part of this. Yes, growth is good, but grow smart.
Yeah.
Grow smart. Exit is good, but exit smart.
Yeah.
You got to be, if you're a family business, what is it going to do to your family business? What is it going to do to your lifestyle? Exit smart. Grow smart.
Jim, I shameless plug here. If folks want to hear more about some of those topics that you were just talking about, obviously there's the magazine they can read. We've done a lot of episodes on how to kind of set yourself apart, how to stay true to your community, how to learn about your customer. So check those out at carwashmagazine.com. Jim, before I let you go, I've got one more question for you. In all of this change and all of these things going on in this industry, if I'm watching and I want one thing to take away today that I can do to be ready to be better tomorrow, what's the one thing or maybe two things I can do?
Stay close to your customer. Know who they are and what they look for in a car wash. And believe me, they're not static. They're going to change. They're reading too. They're looking around. Stay close to your customer. Never take them for granted. Loyal customers aren't necessarily loyal. You've got to give superior, over-the-top service and stay close to them. That would be my one great suggestion. Know customer value and stay close to those customers.
I love that. I love that advice. Jim, thank you so much for spending some time with us today and sharing us a little bit of what you think is going on and what we need to be prepared for.
Thank you very much, Matt. I'm ready to enter the industry.
We'll get you hooked up with some suppliers. Don't worry. Hey, friends at home, if you're watching, thanks for tuning in this week. If you want to catch more great stories like this, you can do that at carwashmagazine.com, as always. And you know, there is just one thing that you need to do when you're out there this weekend and you're killing it washing cars, and that is keep it clean.
I'm just having a